Hello, everybody, and a very warm welcome here to the Wine with Jimmy channel. You are probably aware, but this is all about wine education here on this channel. So, if you are an enthusiastic amateur in the world of wine, you'll find these videos very interesting with lots of pictures, maps, and recommends to get more from your glass of wine. But if you are studying the world of wine, then my videos follow very closely key syllabus and key text of major wine qualifications. Here we're looking at Australia for the Worlds of Wine section of the WSET Diploma. And we're looking here at the beautiful large island of Tasmania. This is in Series 6 of Australia, and it's a standalone video looking at this quite wonderful island, which crafts some of the most compelling wines from Australia, if not the world today. If you do have a comment or a question, please do get in touch. It's always great to hear from you. You can comment on the video below. Make sure you click like and subscribe. Let's talk about Tasmania to begin with, the location. So, the island state of Tasmania, lies about 150 miles or 250 kilometers south of the Australian mainland. And it's separated by water. It's separated by the Bass Strait. It has over 2,000 hectares of vines. It only contributes around 1% of Australia's total wine production by volume, but it is certainly very well known as a key producer of premium wine from Tasmania, both still and sparkling. Still wine makes up about 2/3 of production, sparkling about 1/3. There is certainly a strong domestic market for Tasmanian wine, so within Tasmania and Australia. So as a result, little Tasmanian wine, unfortunately for someone like me and many of you around the world, very little amount of it is exported. Tasmania is also a very popular tourist destination, and a significant proportion of sales, those domestic sales, are direct to consumer at the cellar door of these beautiful places which have bistros and restaurants on site as well around the likes of Hobart and Launceston. So let's start going into some details about climate and weather. If we were to make a very broad generalization, Tasmania has a cool maritime climate due to its very southerly latitude, so around 41 to 43 degrees south. And you can see I've put a latitudinal map on the right-hand side of your screen, which clearly shows you the Bass Strait to the north, for example, as well. The latitude numbers you'll see are gridded on the left-hand side. We also find the westerly prevailing winds which blow in from the Southern Ocean across Tasmania, and with those winds, rain is brought in some substantial amounts. These winds are often referred to as the Roaring Forties, musically perhaps, but moreover to do with the latitude here, so very significant wind patterns. Now, Tasmania has the lowest mean January temperature of all of Australia's wine regions, and this sits at 15.6 degrees Celsius, which is something akin to, say, the Mosel in Germany. So it's a very cool climate. Now, if you were joining me just on the previous series discussing some of the parts around Perth in Western Australia, potentially the Swan District, for example, you will note that the temperatures there were up to around 23 degrees Celsius. So much bigger difference as we head down here to Tasmania, much cooler. Most of the rain falls on the west coast, as you will know, from the roaring 40s winds, bringing that rainfall. And a lot of it doesn't reach the vineyards which are found around Hobart and the Coal River Valley area towards the east. The west coast will often have over 1,000 millimetres of rain in comparison to Hobart, which is around 500 millimetres of rain, both of those annual amounts. And you'll see the climatic data here, the annual rainfall here. This is going to be for probably a location in the north or the west, because the annual rainfall here above 900 millimeters, and growing season rainfall looking at about sort of half, about 460, 480 millimeters of rain per year. So the southeast tends to be drier and less humid, where we find Hobart, for example, and irrigation in those areas actually might be necessary. In the north and west, we've talked about the growing season rainfall easily achieving sort of 450 millimeters per growing season. So that means that humidity is more intense here, and fungal disease pressure is often higher in those locations. So typically vines are found away from that area, more on the northern coast, and then of course on the east or the southeast. So, what about our temperatures here? Now, broadly speaking, southern Tasmania is cooler than the north due to the latitude. So, we know that, of course, heading down towards Antarctica. And being further south, some regions enjoy slightly longer hours of sunshine during the growing season, remembering due to the Earth's tilt. The cooler temperatures in the south mean site selection is very, very essential. Vineyards tend to face north and east to maximize exposure to sunlight. Remember, this is the opposite in comparison to the northern hemisphere. Spring frosts are also a threat, and many growers use frost fans and sprinklers to mitigate the risk. This is the lowest maximum temperatures, and this is in March 2020 from the Australian Bureau of Meteorology, showing you that the temperatures certainly in blue here are more sort of southerly generally, and then we get slightly warmer ones towards the north, mainly because of that latitudinal effect, of course. As with many places, there are sub-regions. These are unofficial. So Tasmania is treated as a single geographical indication. But a number of the regions across the island have informally identified with distinctive climates, geology, and topography. So, for example, the Coal River Valley, which is the sort of darker green, number 5 on your map just there towards the east of Hobart. This is very important as a focused unofficial subregion, as is the Tamar Valley. So you'll see the Tamar Valley is the kind of brownish number 2 region in the north around Launceston. We'll also find Pipers as well. Pipers River in the north. So this is Pipers Brook. Number 3 is orange there, actually classified as the northeasterly area. These are some of the more famed unofficial subregions. These 3 that we've mentioned, so let me just go through those again. So Coal River Valley, number 5. Then the Tamar Valley, number 2, and then Pipers, which is number 3, are sheltered somewhat by mountains from the worst prevailing winds, remember, from the roaring 40s from the west. There's extremely varied soils from north to south. In the Derwent Valley, which is number 6 there, that is attached to Hobart, there is sandstone and schist. In the Coal River, which is just to the east of Hobart, there's peaty alluvial and sandy low humus soils. Pipers Brook, Pipers River has deep, free draining, friable soils. That's number 3. And the Tamar, which is the 2, is gravelly basalt soils on clay and limestone. The picture there you'll see is Coal Valley Vineyard on the Coal River Valley. Gorgeous landscape, as you can see. Looks cold though, doesn't it, despite it being sunny. So the key black grape varieties, so I think many of you will know this and recognize this. It's Pinot Noir with about 47% of the fruit in 2023, and Chardonnay with 25% of the fruit in 2023. So combined, these are over 2/3 of the production. So these are widely the two varieties used for sparkling wines, but remember, it's actually more common to find still wine production. Tasmanian Pinot Noir, now knocking on half of production, is usually light to medium bodied with high acidity, moderate alcohol, and strawberry and cherry aromas. Warmer sites, certainly when geology, like basalt in the Tamar area or schist in the Derwent area, will give a more riper character, but also those areas which are a little bit drier and warmer climatically. You'll see Tamar Ridge here on the left-hand side and the exceptionally well-admired Tolpuddle Vineyard Pinot Noir on the right-hand side, one of the finest Pinot Noirs, potentially in the world. The key white varieties that we find here, Chardonnay, of course, is the most important, and that tends to be medium-bodied, medium alcohol, with a variety of characters like pear, apple, and peach. The wines are naturally high in acidity. They will typically go through a lot of malolactic, normally 100%, to soften that quite intense acidity and to enhance texture. Virtually all the top wines undergo barrel fermentation for further texture, and they have a really great integration of oak flavors. Both Chardonnay and Pinot Noir will be matured in oak, typically old, with small proportions of new oak. Producers have also embraced other varieties such as Sauvignon Blanc, Riesling, which I find is possibly the most exciting outside of Chardonnay, and Pinot Gris. Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon, and even Shiraz are grown, but in the very warmest sites. Look out for Tamar Ridge again, Tolpuddle, Pooley there as well, single vineyard Chardonnay in the Coal River Valley. Great wines. Okay, that brings me to a conclusion looking at Tasmania, and that actually completes the Australian series. Once again, if you have a question or comment about Australia, Tasmania in terms of wine, or you have some recommends about restaurants across Tasmania, your favourite producers, and so on, please do get in touch. What do you think about Tasmanian Chardonnay and Pinot Noir when it stands up against its mainland counterparts in Australia and the likes of Burgundy, Oregon, and other parts of the New World? Do get in touch. But until next time, I've been Jimmy Smith, and ciao for now.